Hello, my beautiful Rich and Chill souls, and welcome to another podcast episode with an interview. And I'm super excited. I have the lovely Patti Handy today here with me. And as you already heard in the introduction, we are going to have a lot of fun and a lot of cool questions here. But of course, welcome, Patti.
Thank you so much, Betty. I appreciate you having me. This is going to be a great
Yes, and
conversation.
so nice to have you here. Thanks for taking the time.
Of
And
course,
as
of
I
course.
already said, our listeners already know a little bit about you, but in your words, who are you? What is your work about? And I know you are a coach and author, and why is this work so important for you?
Yes, of course. So, yes, I am a single mom, got divorced many years ago. And as a result of many conversations with ladies who were divorced, widowed, single, when it kind of came to money, there was a common theme that I heard. So I have chosen this path, coming out of many years in corporate banking. Then I went into mortgage lending for many years, and then I became a financial advisor. So I've been in the conversation of money, people's money in some capacity for nearly 40 years.
Mm.
And I left my position last year in 2023 as a financial advisor to go out on my own and become a financial coach, working
Mm.
primarily with women, and even more specifically, women who have been divorced or widowed or just single by choice, and trying to navigate money. It's a topic that is oftentimes, scary and intimidating.
Mm.
And it's my mission to really make this a very comfortable conversation, increase the financial confidence, and bring that peace of mind that we as women all deserve.
Oh, that's so beautiful. We have a lot in common. I also come from the world of banking and investing. And yeah, combine this work now with my mindset and manifestation part. But it was interesting what you said. I worked as a sales trainer also for over a decade, um, with mostly women around for in their 40s, in the 50s. And of course, I also had a lot of women that were divorced. And I experienced that, like, they were totally overwhelmed. The most husbands managed the money and they had no idea where to start and what to do. And if you would
Exactly.
like to share your perspective or what you recommend in your work, where when someone is in such a overwhelming situation, where to start?
Yeah, great question. And I found the same thing in over my many decades of speaking to women. It is a very common theme. There's a lot of shame, embarrassment, overwhelm. You're absolutely right. The husbands took care of the money, and when one passed unexpectedly or divorce came up, they found themselves in a situation where they're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. This is overwhelming." And there's panic, and there's just this freeze. So what I start with, first, give yourself some grace and be kind with yourself. You're navigating a very difficult time, and especially if you're newly divorced or newly widowed, you're dealing with a lot of trauma, you're dealing with a lot of emotions, you're dealing
Yeah.
with grieving, and you've got to navigate through that before you make any decisions, especially when it comes to money. You can't make a good decision around money when you're in that state.
Mm.
You've got to really come through the other side. You don't need to necessarily heal 100% and be completely, going through life, years later, but you've got to get past that initial dark
Mm.
phase, that cloud. And I know I experienced that when I went through my divorce. And there's never a good, like I said, good financial decision that comes out of that time.
Yeah.
But I would start with really understanding and having a good understanding of where you are financially. So what that
Mm.
means is look at cash flow. What's coming in, what's going out. What do I
Mm.
have? Is a tight budget. What's coming in, what's going out, and then determine, okay, am I upside down every month, or do I have a positive cash flow? If I have a
Mm.
positive cash flow, how can I either pay down debt if you have debt, or you can invest it and set up an automatic investment kind of savings plan. Then
Mm.
look at your net worth. Look at, if you own a home, if you have retirement funds, brokerage funds, whatever you are currently, sitting on, so to speak. So you get a good financial snapshot, which is kind of the starting point of where you are in that roadmap.
Mm.
And then you determine, like, okay, well, I want to retire, or I want to stop working at this time. and you look at that timeline, whether it's 10, 20, 40 years, whatever that time period is, and you
Mm,
make a kind of a game plan. And that's what we do together when I'm working with my clients. We make a game plan to create that roadmap to get to that place. So we, backwards engineer what has to happen.
mhm,
Um, so start with that, start with understanding your debt, start with understanding where you are financially. And then, you can shortcut this healing and shortcut this path by seeking help. Work with a trusted advisor, a trusted CPA, an
mhm.
attorney, a coach, whatever, somebody that like and trust. Spend time with them and see how they can help you navigate this. And if you're in a situation where you don't understand a particular investment or you don't understand something that they're telling you, be
Mm.
okay with saying, I don't know what you're saying. Please slow down and say it again. Because a
Oh,
lot of
that's
times, you
pretty
know,
good.
people talk fast or they use jargon or certain lingo, especially in the investment world. Um, so yeah, that's what I would, that was a big list.
Absolutely. It's so beautiful what you said. No, especially when it comes to investing, I invest in stocks and real estate since my early 20s. And of course, it's like in every bubble. Also, as a coach, we sometimes use words every day, and someone else has no idea what are you talking about. And
Yeah,
exactly what you said, often women are ashamed to ask, and men too, of course. And when I talk with my clients, I said, do you even know what a stock is, or do you just invest because it's somewhere in the news and they say, here, invest there? I think it's really interesting that people, that I think most work really hard for their money, but sometimes they invest just like they buy groceries and have no idea what it even is, or what know how long, or no goal behind it. So as you said, you have to have what is the goal of the whole thing? Do you want
yeah.
monthly cash flow, or is it for your retirement or whatever? So that's really beautiful what you do. I totally love that. And of course, as you said, and I think that's a really, really great starting point. I also experienced that a lot, that people have no idea how much is going, such simple things, where do I spend my money on, how much is coming in, what is going,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's
It's very
it
simplistic, but
seems
we don't
so
do it.
obvious, but I
Yeah.
think most people don't do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've witnessed that, and it's a very easy exercise.
Mm,
And I always stress that you don't need to necessarily do it every single month, but at least do it for a bit so you get a handle on what's going on, and
yeah, of
you're just
course.
more
Mm,
mindful and you're more aware of what's kind of going out, because we do things on autopilot a lot. And until we look at our statements and we really analyze what we've spent on fast food or we've spent on, whatever. And I'm not saying you can't do that, by all means, enjoy your coffee, enjoy, your treats. But if you're in a situation where you're in kind of a transition in life and you've got to really
mm,
watch what's happening, you might need
yeah,
to cut that out for a little bit. You might need to,
yeah, of
watch that.
course.
If
Mm,
you have credit card debt, you've got to focus on that. And so
yeah.
this is not a life sentence. This is not, something that's forever, but it's a temporary pivot to get back
Mm,
on track.
yeah. And often I see that in my coachings too, that sometimes people say, I didn't know I had that, whatever membership, and I don't even value that, and I don't need it, but it's there. And so it's
Mm,
sometimes really cool for them to see what they spend their money on, what they don't even value.
right,
It's
right.
just, yeah.
It's definitely an awakening, and it's a great mindful exercise.
Absolutely. And it's, of course, my work is a little bit more on the mindset and not so much on the strategy. But what I experienced for myself and also for previous clients is that when you are investing, it's pretty cool to have also a good money mindset. And I would absolutely love to share your experience on that when it comes to mindset and investing. And also, especially with women, the ability to hold money. It's not about when there is enough, but also the ability to hold and say, oh my gosh, I invested in that, and that's maybe the stocks are going down a little bit and they're freaking out. And I would love for you to share that from your perspective.
Yeah, there's definitely the money mindset and our relationship with money component. And then there's the strategy and there's the mechanics and the academics behind the investing in the money. The
Yeah.
money mindset piece is really very foundational. It's kind of a good foundation of a home. If you built this beautiful castle on a weak foundation, it will crumble, right? So having that money mindset, having that positive, good, healthy relationship with money is really where it starts. And it's probably a 2-hour conversation, but very high level, we are taught at a very young age by listening to what our parents say or whoever our caretakers are, when it comes to money, when it comes to life, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to health, whatever. And if there's a lack and scarcity and fear, conversation happening in the home, and you're ingesting this, you are basically programming your subconscious mind to believe that
Yeah.
that is the truth, that's the reality.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, so I know you're very familiar with all this. So that becomes our limiting, beliefs, which then creates our thoughts. And then our thoughts flow into our experiences and our life behaviors, and then that's our result. So if we don't like what we see outside, if we're not happy with our results, I go through an exercise where we sort of go backwards, kind of peel the onion layers, and let's go back into what's happening. What do you remember hearing growing up, and even into older years? What kind of words were your parents using? So because that's playing in the subconscious mind, and we're making decisions in life based on that. So we are repelling money subconsciously, or we are a magnet to money subconsciously. So it's really a very interesting exercise. It's a very neuroscience in the brain and the way that we can reprogram the brain. It's fascinating. And
Absolutely,
for those, for those who are feeling like they have to, or that they're stuck with this mindset forever because it's what they have programmed, it's not true. You can change your thoughts.
Absolutely, you can change them, but also I always love to say, it's like it's more like overwriting those beliefs. You can't cut them out. And sometimes when you are in let's say, a new level of income, for example, there sometimes an old money story comes up and you think, oh, I thought this was already gone. And
Yeah.
here we go again.
Yeah.
But of course, and it's also mindset for me also means to have more this awareness to notice these situations and say, okay, what story am I telling myself here? Is this even true? Of course, we all have been programmed, and most of us, let's be honest, have learned that money is not the best thing in the world, and rich people are greedy or whatever, especially women, because when you are rich and a woman, you are greedy or you are lonely or whatever. So there is a
Right.
lot of going on in society, and so it's so beautiful that there are more women out there sharing this, and it's so important, and
It's
I
so
totally love that.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to step into our greatness, and
Mm.
we are always focused on. I think we as women, we tend to be focused on making sure everyone else is okay, making sure the family's okay, the
Yeah.
children, the husband, the whatever. We're the protectors, and oftentimes we don't take that same opportunity to take care of us, and not just physically and emotionally and mentally, because that is absolutely crucial, but it is the financial component, and we have to. I think it's very important, even if you're in a beautiful, healthy marriage. It's important to know, that you are financially independent, that you have the financial confidence, you have the financial
Of
comfort.
course.
Having those conversations, that's very empowering, and that brings a sense of safety and security,
Mm.
which is one of the first things that I always hear women say. I need that safety and security. I think that's a human need. So yes,
Totally. Yeah.
yeah.
And as you said, you can also be in a relationship, but to have this feeling, and I think it's also beneficial for a relationship to have this. It doesn't mean you have to manage both, but just to know, okay, where is our money going? Where do we invest as a couple or whatever? And when you see how many divorces are based on money struggles, and so this is also, I think, really beneficial just to talk about it, because we are not as don't had money conversations at home.
Right.
No, you don't talk about money, or you don't talk about your salary, and so it's really important to speak at least about it. And
Yes.
most people don't do that, and so this is so important and so beautiful what you are doing. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. For the married couples out there, I'm going to encourage you to have a money date like every quarter, and just go out to dinner, go to a picnic, do something out of the house, and spend 15, 20 minutes talking about your finances, making sure that you're on track financially, making sure that your allocation is on track.
Oh, I love that.
Should you rebalance? Should you, do
That's
something?
great.
How is your debt? And then make sure that both spouses know where everything is. In my marriage, my ex-husband didn't understand finances or investing, and I did everything. And this was a long time ago, but I don't even know that he knew where things were, which was, really a mistake. But if something happens to your husband or your wife, and they're the ones taking care of the finances, you need to know where to go. You need to know the passwords to get onto those accounts. You need to know where those statements are. And I can't tell you how many ladies I've talked to where they didn't even know where things were and what they had.
Yeah,
And
totally.
That is dangerous. Yeah.
That is dangerous. Absolutely. I also experienced that, not in my coachings, but as I said, working as a sales trainer, you get some kind of intimate conversations, and for me, it's really sometimes scary when I think, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? You have no idea I mean, it's your money too, and
yeah. You absolutely need to work as a team.
Yeah, that's absolutely, it's a cool idea. Cool idea. I love that. So I have always one question I ask all my interviews partners here. If you had to bring it down to one word, what is money for you?
One word. Freedom.
Freedom. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's probably freedom and choices. I guess it's the two words, if I get to choose two words.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, and they're kind of, they sort of mean the same thing, but it's the ability to, basically live the life that we want, whether that's time freedom, time to spend with family and friends, time to volunteer, freedom to give whatever you want to give to your favorite nonprofit, whatever. But the freedom piece, I think, also filters into your life physically, mentally, emotionally.
Totally.
Freedom to, take care of yourself with feeding yourself the best possible foods and getting the best healthcare. And, again, it just ripples.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. It influences all different areas of your life. If you have, and I'm totally convinced that if you have more money, you make better choices, because you can make better choices also from a more mindful place, because you are not always in a fight or flight, stressed out about money situation.
Yeah. I always say that money makes you more of what you already are. So if you are a generous, loving, caring person, money gives you the ability to give more love, and share more. If you're a greedy jerk, more money will just make you a bigger jerk. So you're not going to change your personality.
No.
But I do think that it magnifies, what's already
totally there. But often people are afraid when they think, Yeah, I think it's because it's all sometimes in movies like that, someone gets a lot of money and changes their personality. But I totally agree. You will just get more of that from what you really are.
What you already are.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know that you change your personality, but I think that it was always in there. The seed was planted.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. Of course, we will link all put all the important links into the show notes if you want to hear more about Patty and her work. And also, I think you wrote 4 books. Am I right?
I have written 4 books. One is
Wow.
a children's book. One is about thriving after divorce, which actually it's a free download on my website. And then I've written 2 about money, geared to the young adult market, but
Mhm.
it's really meant for everybody. It's geared for the young adult market because it's very simplified. I've had financial planners and attorneys read it and tell me that they've learned something. So it's not like simplistic, basic
Mhm.
investing or money management. But yes,
Very cool. So, of course, all links are in the show notes. So, if there is anything you like to share, please do that. Anything you want to leave our listeners with at the end to wrap this up?
I would just say that for those women out there, and I think men too, we are very intuitive people. We are very um, we're wiser than we realize. And I think that if we just learn to trust our gut and we learn to trust our intuition, then I think that is something that you really need to step into. And don't be afraid, like I said earlier, to ask the questions. Don't ever be intimidated by somebody else trying to, you know, sell you something or push you into something.
Yeah,
And then seek the help that you need and want from your trusted sources.
beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, Patty. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
Birte.
listening, and see you soon here at the Rich and Chill podcast.